I was born from A to Z. Love is always the energy. And I love you all equally, wherever you might be, in a Georgia university. Yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. Oh, Lord, yeah. Yeah. I'm on the morning from A to Z, wherever you might be, in a Georgia university. You know, we all love you all equally. Love is always the energy. Listen to Drive Live into the modern day plantation. Love is always a vibration. You know, we are one human nation, no matter the situation. Oh, Lord, Lord. Oh, Lord, Lord, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, you haven't seen me for a minute. You know what I mean? So I was at this funeral on the weekend. Yes. When we say funeral, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about death. See? So this morning I want to focus on how do we find love and how do we see love as the positive energy in all of this thing called death. You see what I mean? Yeah. Yes. Life and death, it's inextricably linked. We say love is life and life is love. And in life, there is death. And how is it that we see death? And we can see death in a positive way? Because you know what we deal with all the time, right? When you say Balfour, it's positivity. Yes. You know what I mean? Balfour and positivity, that's synonymous. You see what I mean? Yeah, man. Love is the energy, and love is the greatest positive energy ever. Love is the overarching energy. I'm on the morning from A to Z. We love you all equally. Love is always the energy. I love you all equally, wherever you might be in the Georgia University. Oh, Lord, Lord, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ah, yeah, yeah. So I have one chant that's coming after this rant. And the chant is going to be, to all my falling soldiers, wherever you might be. To all my falling soldiers, ever, we're one humanity. You see it? Yes. So we're talking and reflecting, you know, you name them. Whether we're talking about, Kobe Bryant. Remember that? Yeah, whether we're talking about Bob Marley. Remember that? Whether we're talking about Haile Selassie. Remember that? Whether we're talking about Jesus Christ. I wasn't there. I don't know that to be true. However, we read the story, of the crucifixion in the Bible. Yes, the sacrificial lamb. Yes, sacrifice. So, whether or not the story is true or not, you know what I mean? That's not the focus, or that's irrelevant. What I know is that the story is applicable to my life. That someone would love someone so much that they would sacrifice the most important and sacred gift ever, which is life. Yes, sacrifice. Now, a lot of these deaths that we're talking about, these are not necessarily intentional sacrifices. Like, for example, Kobe Bryant and even Bob, you know what I mean, and all these. Yeah. Um, and then the argument would be like, let's say the assassination of Martin Luther King and President Kennedy. You know what I mean? Those deaths, were they intentionally sacrificial deaths? Not necessarily. However, you know that when you put your life, you know that when you live a certain life, you are more likely to die in a certain way. For example, like a police officer, it's a riskier job than certain other jobs. You see what I mean? Yes. Even from the moment you were conceived, then you are at risk for death. Remember that. You're in the womb. You're a fetal state. You're in a fetal state and you are at risk to die right away. The moment we are born, we are at risk of death right away. Imagine that. So life and death also basically is wrapped around in the same parcel. You see what I mean? Yes. So when we come to understand death, we should understand and overstand. Understand, overstand. All right. Rasta speak. Yes. However, it's love. It's the energy. We should understand that. Yeah, we can see. So the dilemma and the dichotomy is that we don't want to, pardon me for that big word. We don't want to. So the irony is that it's inevitable that we shall die. We don't want to die. We want to live, generally speaking. You know what I mean? We always want to live. And even though life is challenging, the focus is that we should find the meaning in life to live. So sometimes when life becomes so challenging and this thing called life, where we're told that it is what we should want and want it everlastingly, you know what I mean? Then sometimes it becomes so challenging and some people get suicidal and all of these kinds of things, right? Some people get depressed, some people get frustrated. However, in your right mind, in your right frame of mind, this thing called life, you want to preserve it and enhance it because it's the most precious gift ever. And then you reflect, and yes, you're going to lose it. But what you're going to lose? You know what I mean? And then we think, and we say, well, it's the physical part of life that we're losing. You know, that spiritual part of life lives on. Because what we know is that when people that we know who would have already passed away, we see them living on in their memories. So they're gone, but they're not forgotten, is what we say. They're gone physically. You know what I mean? But their energy is still there. Their energy is still there because there's something about them that can guide us to live on and live even better. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's one way in which we can use death, right? The physical transition that someone was in the physically in the flesh, but they're no more in the flesh. However, we remember them, and we remember them even more when they do, ironically, good or bad things, even more. You know what I mean? Because we still remember some of the souls, even when they lived in a kind of a more evil way. And that is the other thing, that if we allow evil to take us over, then we can, you know, live and lead an evilous kind of life. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like, man, you know, this kind of life that this individual lived, it was just, yeah, it was just a negative life. So the positivity that we're focusing on now, you know what I mean? So we have to pivot from that to a positive life. You see what I mean? And we have so many examples of evil forces, evil, you know, individuals just allowing themselves to be captured by evil. However, we have to push on and know that we're trying to focus on positivity. And so the stronger we live, the more positive we live, the more loving we live, the more caring and sharing we live. You know what I mean? And the more above ourselves we live, you know, then the spirit lives on it's almost a greater presence even when we're gone. Yes. So it's that irony where, yes, I'm here right now in the physical and I want this life to go on forever and ever. I know inevitably I shall pass away in this physical flesh. I shall be no more at some point. Yes. So it's one of the reasons why I'm on social media right now, sharing this energy, you know, because hopefully when I shall transition this earth in the physical, my spirit shall live on even stronger because I am sharing more openly and in a positive way to people. And so there will be remnants, there will be telltale signs, there will be videos that people can tap into and say, who is this youth here? What he was saying, let me see what he was saying. Let me see his energy, you know? Because believe it or not, Miles Monroe is an energy of a human being that is no more with us physically. However, his spirit lives on for sure with me. And I've stumbled on his videos on YouTube, you know, and I never just stumbled on it just like that. I never knew that he had passed away in the flesh. Because when I saw him and he was talking and explaining himself. You know what I mean? And he's a spiritual brother. He's a brother that focus. He's a pastor by profession and all of that. And there's one thing that he had said, many things, but the one particular thing that resonated with me. And when I was listening to him and he was inspiring me through YouTube, a YouTube video, I never knew that he had passed away. And it's after that that I picked up that he had passed away tragically in a plane crash. And so it really didn't even matter. And yes, you know, the physical side of me say, I hope that, you know what I mean, man, I wish that this man is still here, would have still been here in the physical. Yeah. But that's life, the cosmos, and how the natural workings of life goes. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to be my time to transition this earth in the physical. His time came abruptly and as positive as he was. You know what I mean? And so one of the teachings of Miles Monroe for me was that nothing lasts forever. Yes, whether it's good or whether it's bad, nothing lasts forever. Because and this is another teaching of another individual now, that the only thing that lasts, nothingness, is actually the realest of things. Yes. So then we even have to see ourselves in that way, break ourselves down. Yes. Yeah. That we are truly, and we are more our spirits than we are our physical self. We are one of the same. However, this physical is going away soon. Yes? Yes. And so while we are in the physical, we should embrace that and use that to live positively. So even the ones who have passed away. So we say, while these ones who would have passed away, just live positively for them, knowing that life is precious, the most precious gift ever, and they're not here anymore, and they still would have wanted to be here. So now that we are here, let's live for them and live for ourselves. So that means use that and inspire ourselves that we have the greatest gift ever still, however long it's going to last. This moment that I'm talking to you now is the only moment that's guaranteed. The next moment, I don't know that I'll be around. So in this moment, let's live it to the best we can. Eat the best food, meaning fruits and vegetables, because we are one with nature. You know what I mean? Foods that are filled with fiber, even if it's not that sweet, you know what healthy food is. Yes, drink a lot of water, physical exercise, move. We're animals, we're not plants. Plants were made naturally to be static and just absorb the sun and the rain. Yes, we were made to move. Yes, move around, move. That's when we're better. Purposeful movement, loving movements. Yes, be positive in the mindset. Yes, be your brothers and sisters, keepers. You see what I mean? Be spiritually inclined and live it like that. Sheer love energy. Focus on love and not focus on the disagreements. So what the chant goes. So in reflection, to all those who would have lost their loved ones along the way, and in reflection to all those falling soldiers who would have lost their lives along the way. Every single life, because whether they were living evil or not, life in itself, we always have to love it. You see what I mean? Yes. So this one dedicated, little chant, I'm going to chant it more tomorrow. So the chant go, this one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them now. People in Texas who would have lost their lives via the flood. Look at that, those young folks. This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them now. Kobe Bryant, great basketball player. Look at that, abruptly lost his life. This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers. Malcolm and the comedy. Remember him? Yes, that we all watch with people of that age group. Yes. Yes, Malcolm. I only remember him as Malcolm right now. You know what I mean? But you know who I'm talking. Yes, this one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them now. 9/11, remember that? This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them now. You have your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your uncle, your cousin, your nephew, your friend. You know what I mean? This one dedicated who would have passed away before, you know, my grandpapa. Yes, Aunt Gloria, on the weekend we went to his funeral. This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them now. Diego Jata, big baller, that just passed away the other day, and his brother. This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them now. Not south, west, and east. You, my brothers and sisters, soldier, please. And those of you who would have lost loved ones along the way, you know what I mean? To you, I pray, you know what I mean? And then we connect to those people spiritually as well. You know what I mean? This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them know, not so much than the east. Hey, you, my brothers and sisters, soldier, please. May their soul rest in peace. May heart heavy and down. Yes, the reggae singer there in Hawaii, or he's from Hawaii. Yes, what is his name? Fiji or something like that. I don't remember, but I was reading about it. This one dedicated to all my fallen soldiers, them know, not so much than it is. Hey, you, my brothers and sisters, soldier, please. Let their soul rest in peace. My heart heavy and down. Oh, since your life has gone, since you're not around, my heart heavy and down for every life that's gone. Someone's left to mourn. Since you're not around, my heart heavy and down. Jah know me heart heavy, you're gone. Never ready, so I have to hold on ready. I try to keep me steady. Jah know me heart vexed, confused and perplexed. You're gone. So what next? Seems like life effortless. Still in Jah love I invest. In Jah know best. To Jah love I test. And where you gone to rest? All my fallen soldiers, them, not south, west, and east, yeah. You, my brothers and sisters, don't you please. May the soul rest in peace. All right, then. Deep, deep in reflection at this intersection where life and death meet. Death always bitter, life sometimes sweet. Life abounds this minute, death comes in a second. Before you know you're in it, even before you reckon. Death don't have no limit, everyone I get one. Clearest exhibit, one human connection. Make sure you live it and I learn your life lesson. We know how it feel when you lose another loved one for real. Jah bless their souls, Jah rest their souls. Diego Jata. Jah rest their souls, Jah bless their souls. And all the rest, you know, I love what got that scene. Jah rest their souls, Jah bless their souls. The people in Texas who would have lost their lives along the way just the other day. Jah rest their souls, Jah bless their souls. Auntie Gloria, Jah bless their souls, Jah rest their souls. And if you would have lost your loved one along the way, whether a long time ago or recently, joining me to say, let's reflect. In life, there is death. And in death, we can also be positive. You see what I mean? And live on for the ones who would have passed along the way, right? Because we too shall. See what I mean? God rest their souls, Jah bless their souls, Jah rest their souls in peace, please, while we live on only with memories. Jah rest their souls in peace, please, while we live on only with memories. My heart heavy and down, since your life has gone, since you're not around. My heart heavy and down for every life that's gone. One humanity, someone's left to mourn. Since you're not around, my heart heavy and down. Blessings and love. Hasta mañana. Hasta tomorrow. Cuídate. Take care. Dios te bendigas. Jah be with you all. Bendiciones. Blessings. Yes, until then, you know, it's another drive live, you know, to the modern day plantation tomorrow morning. Love you all. Love is always the energy. Yeah,